Hello. I could eat about 1.5 million of these.
Well, nobody's perfect.
Welcome to the It's a Drama podcast.
Daddy, I love him.
My mother thanks you.
If you can't say something nice.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're going to be talking about homeschooling dads. Homeschooling dads and how they can support their wives and the things that they can do to contribute, Brian, to the homeschooling experience. And I've got Brian sitting opposite me looking a little bit scared because it's Father's Day today. And I said, I know, let's just do a podcast about you, Bri, about dads, all the dads out there, giving a big shout out to all the dads out there, whether you homeschool or not. And I said, let's just do it like it's going to be a surprise so you don't know.
I haven't got a clue what you're going to talk about.
So you've been sitting over there looking a little bit petrified.
Yeah, I've been told to take my headphones off.
And look, we're just going to talk about your successes, Brian, as a homeschooling dad. Don't look so worried. Don't look so scared. Okay?
Okay. Do you mean as a dad when we were homeschooling? Or do you mean as a homeschooling dad? Because I didn't do great deals.
Let me say about that, okay?
All right.
That just goes to show, doesn't it?
What?
That you said, I didn't do much as a homeschooling dad. And this is why I wanted to talk about this, right? Because we've been homeschooling coming up to nearly 10 years now. And people always say, oh, wow, Liz, take my hat off to you. You homeschooled your kids. But actually, yes, I was the one at home, like with them all day. I'm surprised I'm not dead, to be honest. But you, well, Brian.
Ran out the door at 8 o'clock in the morning. See ya.
No, you were there and you did the 7 things I'm going to tell you now. So You're going to have to sit there and squirm because I'm going to give you 7 things that you have done so well. No, seriously now, that you've done so well over the last nearly 10 years of homeschooling.
Good job of recording this, isn't it?
Yeah, because we just started a minute ago and then Brian's like, I'm not recording. It's like, oh, okay, start again. Right, hang on, I'm just going to take my tea.
Me too.
Right, so these are the 7 things that if someone said to me, what do you need your husband to do? Or how can a dad support his, how can you contribute? These are the 7 things I would say. And these are the 7 things that you did. Are you sure you don't want me to go and get you some wine? Because you're looking a little bit nervous.
No, well.
I just said to you, do you want wine? And you're like, no, it makes us a bit giddy.
I didn't say giddy.
What did you say?
Sluggish.
Oh, yeah, sluggish. Even worse. Okay, well, sure you don't want wine? No.
No, well, we could always get one at the break.
All right, okay. So Here we go then. 7 things that you did right as a homeschooling dad and that I would say that any homeschooling dad can do.
Okay.
Right? Okay, so, hang on, I can't read my handwriting. You did household things together with them and you did science projects. So although you didn't take you didn't go, oh, I'll teach them that. We never had that agreement.
No.
I'm supposed to ask you a question before I
I don't know, you answer it for me.
No. This is about you. Oh,
Okay.
no, hang on. So should we start again?
No.
God, why do I always get it wrong? Okay, look, before we start, I need to ask you this. What did you think when I said I want to homeschool the kids? I knew there was something.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, going back to, I was really quite shocked because I don't know. I remember being back in the UK and fixing someone's heating who were homeschoolers, and I looked at it and thought, wow, well, it's a great idea, but it just, coming from, we all went to school and that's what the norm is to go to school. It's drummed into us that, it's illegal if you don't go to school. And there I am looking at this family of, I think they had about 4 or 5 kids. And she had a set-up room, which was like, but it was like going back in time because their house was a very old house, but it had this old school feel to it, like it was an old schoolhouse, even though it wasn't. But it was set up with this big table in this room and, like a blackboard and books and all that sort of stuff. So it did feel like a classroom. So when you said to me, I'm going to homeschool, I'm thinking... She
sounds a bit of a show-off to me. Who was she?
I don't know. She was...
No, go on.
And
homeschooling set up like that.
Geez.
Go on anyway.
So that's what I'm thinking. Oh, well, we're going to have to build a classroom or make a classroom or something like that. And it was a bit of a shock. But considering what we'd done in the UK, I suppose...
What have we done in the UK?
Well, we were always trying to work our asses off, basically, to try and get a few pennies together, weren't we? So, you were...
Oh, is that what you mean? What we were doing as a job, right?
Yes,
okay,
yes. So I can see why you thought, well, I'd like to now give it a go. And I hadn't met Petra down the road, the German vet who homeschooled her kids, even though they used to play in the football team with me, because I used to coach the local school football team on a Saturday morning, and they were perfectly normal kids. So...
Well, you're normal. So, all right. So, shall I just say then? Did you think homeschooling kids were a bit weird?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, as in the perception that there was either they'd been expelled from school or they were in some religious sect that they didn't want to go to school because it didn't deal with their religion. It was against whatever it is they believed in. So that's what you tend to think of, homeschoolers.
Did you think I was cracking up a bit when I said I want to homeschool?
No, not at all. No. And the thing is, I've always been open to try something.
Yeah, you have.
Give it a go. What have you got to lose? It's like my dad used to say, they can't put you against the wall and shoot you. Well, they can, I suppose, but
drive you to insanity, though, can't they?
Yes, they can.
The kids.
Yeah, they do. They did. They still do.
So you were all up for it, and that was the one thing you worried about was having to build the schoolroom.
No, just thinking, we're going to have to adapt, because we at the time, I believe that we were just about to build this house that we live in now.
I started
because we were renting a house down on the beach, and so it was like, oh well, yeah, we can just adapt it and do it as we're going along.
Did you ever think, well, hang on a minute, if you're going to be homeschooling, I'm going to be the main breadwinner?
Well, ever since we came to New Zealand, we'd never ran a business. Like in the UK, we'd run a business together. And, even though you were kind of bringing the kids up, you then decided to do your own business. Yeah. And you were still doing my accounts and things as well.
But did it cross your mind? Did you just think, oh, no,
no,
lazy arse is going to stay at home all day?
No,
and I'm going to have to go out and work.
You have that crazy idea where you think, I'm really going to interact with this and do it. But you to be honest, as a homeschooling dad, if you've got the role where you are going out to earn money, it's a hard one. You tend to think, I'll really interact and I'll do all these things, a bit like what you said before, science experiments. And I was imagining, we're going to get some Bunsen burner up on the the worktop and start doing these crazy experiments in the house. But that never really happened like that, did it?
Well, shall I step in now, Brian?
Yes.
Shall I step in
You can
and
step
say
in.
number one?
Okay.
Thank you, Brian, because you actually did do science experiments with the kids.
Yeah.
No, you did.
Okay.
You did. You took Sonny to the science thing in Hamilton for a
Yes.
weekend. You were always talking whether you knew it or not. And this is the thing. As a homeschooling mum, I was constantly watching what you were talking about with them and whether that was a lesson. And I don't mean to sound like I'm a little freak,
No,
like,
I know.
what
but
are you
that's,
teaching them,
Yeah.
But when we went on walks, which we did a lot, you were always talking about that thing. What's that thing you're always going on about?
Atmospheric pressure.
Yeah, that thing. And you're always talking about that and how
Surface tension.
Yeah, how it worked and, all the complicated stuff. And you were always, like when you got that cup out and you were like, do you know why the water stays hot in this flask? Like, just drink the tea. But no, so all those little things that you did was teaching the kids. You built the Titanic thing out of the wood for them. You made a big Titanic ship to go with their project.
Yep.
So you did. So what number one is, although you might not be able to go, okay, I'm going to have these super Bunsen burner science experiments, you did take over, whether you knew it or not, all the sciencey
But that's
stuff.
what I'm trying to say is you tend to have this perception that this preconceived idea that you're going to do that type of thing. And realistically, you do not need to do that.
No.
Because you'll just see something and I don't know. Yeah, my mind's always been very logical, and you just see something, and you can see them wondering about it, and then so you just try and explain to them what is it that you're thinking, and what do you think that does that, and why does it do this, and especially with heat and stuff and light and
you were
all
the
those sort of
perfect
things.
example for that. That's what I'm saying is, when they say, oh, you learn through life, and you're like, well, how does that work? Well, you did. You were the unschooling. You never sat down with them and said, right, okay, let's write an essay or let's do this. And just quickly going back to your point about you have this perception of you're going to sit there and do, when you start homeschooling, you're like, oh, I know, we'll get all these books and we'll do this and we'll make it all, and they'll listen to me. Well, that's just a load of rubbish because they don't, and you have to just wing it and do another way. So anyway, Bri, that's number one. We can't linger too long because we've got 7 to get through,
okay.
Right? Number 2, you really need your husband or the other half to just discipline your kids. And you disciplined our kids. Don't do that face.
I don't think, go on.
Okay. It's funny, isn't it, how you don't know your own strengths. You disciplined our kids in a way that's completely different to me. So I'm not saying like, it was like, wait till your father gets home. But you would let things go. You have always done this. You've let me be the disciplinarian, whatever that word is. I'm always the one that's telling them off.
Yep.
And then when you need to step in, you did. And you always did that in a really calm way. You always have done. You've always said, even now, even last week, you said, I'm going to talk to Sonny about that.
Yeah, and I suppose the discipline side of it, like you say, that type of discipline was, oh God, Dad's going to have to talk to me, and that's what you kind of. It would get to the point where you think, okay, I need to step in, but it's not going to be a shouting match. It's just going to be like, right, we just have a chat together, and explain a few things here. Yeah.
And I think you need that because you need that balance because. When you're with your kids all day, when I was with the kids all day, there's only so much I can say, like, right, me and you need to talk, and they'd be like, oh, here we go,
Yeah, but that's a fine balance on your side with, you're the mum and a teacher. So it's crossing where you cross the line, isn't it? And that's what would be hard for you sometimes.
But you did a really good job, and you do a really good job.
Okay, it's a good job we're recording this.
Yeah.
Jeez. I'll be pushing this one.
I told you were going to be shocked. This will only ever happen once, Brian. No.
How many Father's Days are there this year?
No, but you do.
Yeah.
You do. And and you're great because it's like, right, I'm going to talk to them. I'm gonna have a word, and it's like, right, okay, now that I can step back because you're taking charge of that side of it.
Yep. Okay.
Number 3, well, I've written read aloud to them, but actually that evolved. You always read aloud to the kids when they were babies, when they were little.
Yes, because I'd be normally again working and always trying to get home before 6 o'clock. So then we had that wind down with the kids. We could watch a bit of TV, CBeebies it was at the time in the UK, and then sit with them for half an hour or so around 7 o'clock and read to them. Yeah. Yeah. You always did that up until the age of, I can't remember how old they were when 18, I think it was. When you stopped. I'm trying to think when it was. Maybe about 8, I don't know. Yeah, about 8 years old. Yeah. But you did. And I'm just going to carry that on because after that, you then got them into, and I didn't, you got them into talking books. Audiobooks, yes. Yeah. And so you have that thing, the three of you, that's like when we went around the world, the three of you had this bond that you listened to your Harry Potters all the time, you're talking books and... Yeah, when you think those books are like, I don't know, 13 hours long maybe to read, or a talking book, maybe longer, some of them. And we virtually went through the whole series of Harry Potter when we were away. We were doing some big trips on autobahns, and mainly in Europe was the biggest part because that was the only time we really could hire a car because it was the cheapest way to get around. And it was just, I remember one day we had to drive from Holland to Italy, and it was a 13-hour drive. And we were doing speed sometimes on that day of 130 kilometers an hour, which is 80 miles an hour, more than that, for like 4 or 5 hours at a time. And the day just went like click, because we had all these audiobooks that we were listening to. So yeah, it was a great
and that's
way.
your thing.
Yes,
that's your thing
that's
that
what-
you
yes.
have with the kids.
Yeah.
And also, how many times, bearing in mind, I don't think I've watched any, but how many times have you watched Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, our three or four main things are Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah, that's it.
and Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit.
How many times have you watched those with the kids?
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mainly if you go away somewhere, so say you go and do a house sit or something, it's like, right, what should we watch? And 9 times out of 10, it's those films that we just go, right, when we just get into it, because I think it just takes them back to a time when there was no worries and things like, you know.
So that is your thing.
That's our thing.
That is your thing, Brian.
Yep.
You know, you read to them, you introduced them to the talking books, to the audio book of it, and you have that thing with them where that is your thing, that you watch that film and you talk about it, don't you?
And our Saturday mornings, going...
Hang on.
Oh, carry on.
Don't jump the gun there, laddie.
Jump the gun. Steady on.
Yes. Don't get excited.
Okay. Getting above me station again.
We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to talk to you about a homeschooling project that I've just finished creating that I know you are going to absolutely love. I have been homeschooling for 10 years, and I'm not going to lie to you, the first year or so of my journey were the hardest. I struggled with fear, with self-doubt. I constantly worried that my kids would be falling behind, that I wasn't providing a good enough schedule, or I just worried constantly. Over the past 10 years, I've been making notes. I'm a note-taking person, and I've made notes continuously about what worked and what didn't. And I have taken those notes and I've put them together for you, so you don't have to spend the first year or so of your homeschooling journey struggling. I have called it the 30-day homeschool transformation course. And within that 30 days, I cover everything you need to know about homeschooling. All of those fears will go away. All of those doubts will be addressed. So you will know how to homeschool and work full time. You'll know how to create a schedule that only goes for 3 days and allows you another 2 days to do other things. You'll know how to homeschool different school-age kids. You will know what to do when your child doesn't want to listen to you. Look, everything is in there. Everything I've learned in 10 years in 30 days. It's a 30-day homeschool crash course. I am so excited about sharing this with you, and I really wish someone had given this to me when I started homeschooling, because it would have saved an awful lot of time and heartache. I am here today to offer you this already massively discounted homeschool course at a whopping 75% off. But because you are a podcast listener, I want to give you an extra 20% on top of that. So listen, here's what you've got to do. Head over to www.itsadrama.com/homeschool transformation course. You'll go through to the sales page, go to the checkout, and you'll find the little box that says add coupon code for further discount. In that box, add the word podcast, all uppercase, podcast, and you will get an extra 20% off. Look, please, just do it for your kids, if for nothing else. You don't want to spend that first year or so struggling. Okay, go to www.itsadrama.com/homeschool transformation course. When you get to the checkout, click the box that says I have a coupon and type in podcast, and you're going to get an extra whopping 20% off the course. Number 4, on Saturday mornings.
I should see that list, really, shouldn't I?
No, you weren't allowed to see this. It's a private. Right, okay. We need our husbands to play sports with our kids. Well, I certainly did, because I don't play sports. I don't like playing games, and I just miserable old cow. And when you
That's
meet,
because you don't like losing. That's why.
no, when you meet people and you tell them you homeschool. Now, I don't know if this is just, you'll have to write up and let me know. I don't know if this is just limited to New Zealand, but when you tell Kiwis that you homeschool, what's the first thing they say?
Oh, yeah. What about their sports?
Yeah, what about the sports?
Yeah. What sports?
So I was so grateful to you because you have done so, and you're not particularly a sporty person. I mean, you like to watch footy and everything, don't you? But it's not like you're out there doing the chin-ups and stuff, is it?
Oh, I am. Cheeky sod.
No, hang on. This is supposed to make you feel good, this podcast. Right. So, no, listen. You, on Saturday mornings, I've written all down all the sports you did with the kids. You took them mountain biking.
Yep.
You took them hunting. You taught them archery. You took them fencing. And you did, what's the other thing I've put down there? Oh, frisbee thing.
Frisbee golf.
Yep. So, and you did all that football, like you said, and all the rest of it. So I just think it's really important and I'm really grateful that you did that, just the sports side,
Yeah, and they both did martial arts, so we used to take them to karate twice a week as well, didn't we?
But I'm just saying the things that you did with them.
Yes, yeah.
You, Bri.
Me.
You made that happen.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
There you go then.
Yeah, throwing the bikes in the back of an old Toyota van and driving up and playing music, which was normally something like AC/DC, just to get their minds racing and always remember that type of thing. Yeah, I still can see the two of them when they were still kind of small, sitting on the front seat of that little Toyota van and with bikes in the back, and then taking up these hills and them both crying, but just absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all the homeschooling dads out there, please take note. You just need to just take charge of the sport.
Yeah, it's a piece of cake.
Sort it out.
Take them down the canal or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, it doesn't have to be anything.
Do you remember that time we went to the canal and Sonny fell in his bike?
Yes, still remember that to this day.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. He just got wobbly and went to the side, but he was tiny, wasn't he? Was only about 3 or 4. Well, Tess was. Tess
just looked round and there he was in the canal.
Yep.
Luckily, you jumped in like a hero and saved him. See, there you go.
Yeah, and then he was more worried about his bike, and the guy, I was older Sonny, and the guy grabbed the bike out the canal, didn't he? Anyway.
Right, so which leads me on, not the canal bit, but the sports thing leads me on nicely to the next point, Bri, is it is so important when you're a homeschooling dad to get those kids out of the house and give the main homeschooling mum, 5 minutes. Mother, not more than 5 minutes.
I know, but that's said in that
and
way.
You gave it to me every single week.
Yep.
And I'm so grateful to that because you did used to take them out all Saturday and I didn't have to I would sometimes just come and meet you at 1:00 and you took them out every Wednesday to fencing and you just say just get them out of my way.
Yep, well, that's what you need. I don't know whether you're going to talk about that, about how you felt as well about the whole thing.
Just stick to the
rules.
One.
Okay. All right. Yes. Take them
what are
out.
you pressing your chest for? You're not going to...
I was doing press-ups the other day. I wasn't doing chin-ups. I was doing press-ups. Yeah. No, I've taken a 3-month break from working out. I started working again last week. But
Come on. So what?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
So that's why I'm pushing my chest, all right?
Yeah, well done then.
Okay.
And that's really important. I think that's probably one of the most important things of all is just please, if you're listening to this and your wife started homeschooling or whatever, your partner started homeschooling, you need to get those kids out of the house, preferably every day, about 7 hours a day. And don't come back.
It's called school.
No, I'm only kidding. So yeah. Well done, Bri.
Thanks. It's a good job of recording this.
Should we have our chocolate?
Oh yeah,
Tess
got me these for Father's Day.
Yeah, it's Father's Day here in New Zealand.
Lindor.
Lindor chocolate mint.
Yeah, mint chocolate mint.
Number 6, really important and something you did. Homeschooling dads, listen up. You really, really need to support your wife, support the main homeschooling person in your life. Just tell them how brilliant they are. Bri, you were a fantastic, and still are obviously, but I'm talking about when we were homeschooling. Support to me. and you listened, and sometimes I could see your face. You'd come in from work and you'd be all you'd be all happy. You'd have like your tools strung over your shoulder.
As you always do.
And you'd walk,
Yeah.
with your helmet on, and you'd walk in, your little hard hat, and you'd walk in and you'd see my face and you'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
What's
I'm
wrong with
just
that?
going down the pub.
And
The staff meeting.
And I could see, and you always would just listen to me going on and on about the things, and, and you were such a good support.
Yeah. Well, I used to find that, you'd come in and the big thing is when you have, you could see that you've been spending your whole day with 2 kids under 10 or even under 12, whatever it was at the time. And I'd spent the day with adults all day, or the guys you were working with on building sites or whatever it was. And then, you can come home and go, oh, what type of day have you had? And, I could turn around and, I could have just gone, oh, it's been a horrible day, this, that, and the other. My business partner did this and that. But you just needed to talk. You just needed to talk to someone who was not a child. And you could see it in your face. And there was lots of tears and everything else because, are you doing the right thing? There's no one to go off.
Were you a bit disappointed that I wasn't like the wasn't like the Victorian homeschooling house
she was like
mum?
something out of the the sort of person that would have a bit like the lady with the dogs that we always see, like an old sort of colonial style lady that would have been in the empire and would have homeschooled the kids and brought them back home. And
I'm only kidding.
you know that type of person. Yeah.
No, you were a fantastic support, obviously, and still are. And I just think that's, some days you must just thought, oh, not again. I can't listen to this again. But it's
your family, isn't it? So I make my chocolate now.
Yeah, but I bet some people are like, do you know what? I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But don't be like that.
I've had a tough day, and
yeah.
I've listened to me for a change. But no.
And also, excuse me a minute. Also, you, what I remembered just then as well, was you always told me, like, if I was having like a bad time, you'd always say, do you know what, Liz?
Excuse me. Yep.
Take a week off. Didn't you? Do you remember saying that?
Yep.
Or, don't just take the rest of the week and just go out with them. That's what you used to say to me.
Yeah, stop trying to, for want of saying it, push and poo uphill. If it's not happening, step back from it and reassess that. The great thing with homeschooling, you don't have the same deadlines. As though you try to follow, if the schools broke up that week, then that's what happened,
Yeah, because I did used to follow the school schedule just to keep.
But that was about the only thing that we would follow. And so, did it really matter if you didn't do that particular thing that week? It was different. I know when Sonny was taking his exams and things like that, then he had a couple of deadlines. But realistically, you're talking about when things were happening, and it was just easier to go down the beach and read some poetry down there. Those were your favourite times, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
When you look at it like that.
Yeah, they were.
And you'd many a time I'd be there under someone's house pulling pipes through, putting heating systems in, and you'd send me a picture of you down at the beach, and that would just cheer me up, And
Did it?
yeah, well, of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Because you'd just be like so happy that you were down there, and that's what was happening. Whether it was the beach or the garden or the fields or.
Did you not ever think? And I know you didn't, but did you not ever think, oh, she should be at home teaching those kids some algebra?
No, because I could see what they were like, and they were just amazing kids, weren't they? They still are, but it's. I don't know. They were just happy. We've got some pictures of them, and they're just happy, and you could see it in their eyes. You're not asking them to smile; you can just see it, and that's the difference. And that's so. And just like we were talking before about when you would push them, they wouldn't just keel over and stop. I mean, they had the spirit to keep going because they didn't, they weren't being told that they weren't good enough or they weren't this or they weren't that. And that side of it, wow, why wouldn't you go to the beach, and come back and you got 2 happy kids?
Maybe we should do another episode on another podcast episode on, you know, like how we approach teaching, how I taught that, you know, like
Yes.
just like about the whole learning thing, because yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, we did do lots of book work, and we did lots of, you know, we did followed a curriculum, and
they did Singapore maths. They did all those
Yeah.
things. They had exercise books full of sums and
Yeah.
maths and science and all that sort of stuff.
no, don't get carried
English.
away. They didn't have any science books.
Yeah, physics, biology, chemistry. Yeah, they were on the shelf.
No, listen. So, okay, number 7. This is the last one, because what are we doing for time? Are we okay?
27 minutes.
Okay, so it's going quite long. So we just make this snappy. So the last thing was that I think is super important, and that you did for a homeschooling mum. And as my husband, you made sure that me and you had time for ourselves. And, you know, we went away a lot, not loads, but, you know, we would do things together on our own,
Yes.
you know, go for coffees and go out for, not that we didn't go out for dinner loads, did we? Because we were all never had any money, but
no. And
yeah,
we were
but
always with the kids.
you
weren't we?
just
But-
made time for, because I think when you're, this is my job, you know, and just this is always here, and you can never sort of get away from it. And sort of like the same as when you took the kids out and took them away from me, it was really also really nice to just get me out and just remember, and you know, that I'm your wife, and it was like, you know, I'm not just
No, you
here to.
Yeah, but you have to make that time, don't you? Otherwise, what's the point in doing it all? You know, and
And we made a point of never talking as well about that. We tried, didn't we, when we went out? It was like, I'm not going to be talking about homeschooling.
yeah, but the thing is, the biggest thing that was our saviour. When the kids were young, you would give them their dinner or their tea or whatever you want to call it around about sort of 6 o'clock-ish maybe. And that would give us our evening still. So, you know, and we were always strict on their bedtimes. It was always between 7 and 8 o'clock. And obviously when Sonny got older, he was allowed to stay up a bit later. But realistically, they were happy to go and read or go to bed. And that gave us our time. Or even if they were up, they just did their own thing. They
They'd
were
go and
either
watch
out
a video, wouldn't
playing
they?
with their friends in the summer or watching films or whatever. And it
I
was
feel
their
quite
time.
sorry for those parents, actually. Well, that would be another good episode to do. And, you know, like, because at the moment now, I don't know if this is a new thing. It's like, you must eat with your kids every night. And, you know, you've all got to sit around the table and all have some family time. It's like, oh, you know, yeah, now it's fine.
It's
now
fine
they can
once they're
hold a good
teenagers.
conversation.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine just sitting and, you know, it just, all right, maybe 2 or 3 nights, no, just 2 a week, you can just sit and let your dinner go down in lumps. But it was our saviour, like you say, you know, and it was like, we had breakfast together.
That's the
you know,
thing.
it was
Well, the
like,
breakfast was and it's always been the big thing, is that
Yeah.
we ate breakfast together before hopefully I would go to work.
Yeah.
And that would mean everybody would be up,
yeah.
you know?
But that
and,
time in the evening, you just wanted to have a glass of wine
Yep.
and just relax and not have to do mummy daddy questions,
yeah,
you know?
you'd go mad otherwise. You really would.
You would.
I know a lot of people have got social lives where they end up eating with the kids and then they go off and do the clubs and sport and stuff like that, what they do in the evenings. But that's entirely up to you how you do it.
Who
But
do you know that does that?
what does people play football and
Do they?
go to drama lessons, karate, all that sort of stuff?
What, they actually go out at
They
night?
actually go out and play netball.
What, out of the house?
Yes, netball, rugby.
All right, okay, so I'm going to round it up now and finish it off. So all the 7 things, just to quickly, Brian, you can just sit there and I'm going to quickly tell you again. You taught them, you did stuff in the house with them, you did projects, you did science things, you disciplined them, you had dad chats with them, you read aloud to them, you introduced them to talking books, and you had your own little movie thing together that you had, that was only your thing. You played sports with them, even though you're not, you know, you didn't like take them to a club, you made it all up yourself.
Yep.
And you got them out the house for me and gave me some time on my own, which I was super, super grateful for. You supported me endlessly, and you were just always there for me, and you made time for us together. So, Brian Decor, on this Father's Day, well done. You are the winner of the Homeschooling Dads.
Ta-da! Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that episode. Did you like it, Brian?
It was the best one so far, eh?
We've got this guy that listens called Steve. A big shout out to you. Hello, Steve. He's got a blog called For Rome, and he's
For Rome.
For Rome, and he always says, "Oh, let Brian speak. Give him a chance. Let him speak." So he's going to love this. That you actually
got a chance to speak.
Yeah, no, but it was all about you.
Is that the guy who's in Colombia at the moment?
No,
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 is that someone else?
No, he's from the UK.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. I say, I know a lot of you are going back now and you're deciding to homeschool because of what's going on, and you're taking that big leap and you might be a bit scared. So if you are, and I can completely understand that, make your husband listen to this episode.
Yeah. What have you got to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You're going to end up with rounded kids.
Yeah, they're going to be absolutely amazing. You're going to do such a good job.
And the thing is, they can always go and do whatever they want to do. Once you've given the grounding and they want to learn and not have to learn, that might just be a little bit better for them. Mm. And that's the big difference. Mm. But anyway.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. So if you like this episode, please rate and review on what is it they rate and review on it?
Oh, there's loads. There's Stitcher, there's iTunes, we're on Spotify, YouTube, but the podcasts are everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a little comment box. It's kind of tricky to see on your iPhone and stuff, but you just play around and click around and you'll eventually find the comment section. Leave us a comment.
Yeah, that would be really nice if you could leave us a comment, or email us at liz@itsadrama. And just let us know, how you are and what you're doing, and if you'd like us to chat about anything. And until next week, I'm going to say thanks so much for being here. Big thank you to you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Liz, for being you as well.
And I'll speak to you next week.
Hey, Steve, and come and see us in New Zealand. Go steady.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on the podcast. We have loved having you here.
If you guys could subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us a 5-star review.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
That would be absolutely amazing. And make sure to share the podcast with your friends.
And if you'd like to hop over to the blog, find one of the little boxes that ask you to drop your email. I will send you a newsletter every week letting you know when we've released our new podcast. That will go straight into your inbox. So it's www.itsadrama.com.
All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week for another podcast.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.